Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No? We still can't hear you. Why? One second, one second, one second. Oh, you can hear me now. You can hear me now. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, y'all can hear me. And we can hear. Yes! Thank you. Thank you. Is it Zell? Thank you. We can hear me. We on. We popping. How y'all doing? How we doing? How we doing, people? Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for your patience. Thanks for rocking with me. We moving and grooving. We moving and grooving. I wish I could get this up, y'all. I can't get it up. How we doing? How we doing? Give me the one word. Y'all know how we do. One word to describe how you feeling right now in this moment. Right now. Right now. One word. We just need one word. How are you feeling in this moment right now? Right now. It could be about anything, personal, professional. Give me one word to describe how you feeling. Let's see. Let's check the house. Let's check the house. How are we feeling? Let me see it. Let me see it. Let's see what we got in the building. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see. What's the one word? Let's see. How's everybody doing? Doing a wellness check? Doing a wellness check. How's everyone feeling? Let's do that. And let's oh my goodness gracious. What is that? Frustrated. Wow, talk about it, y'all. What's going on? Why are we frustrated? Why are we frustrated? Do we want to talk about it? No? No? Yes? Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time and then I'm gonna get it rolling because I'm just trying to please everybody. And sometimes let's see what the words are. Let's see. Let's check on each other and see why we're feeling how we're feeling. Okay, I think we're good. Here we go. Okay, it's just gonna have to do whatever. Optimistic, excellent, great, tired, not making my calories, and the number of cover letters I have to personalize. Sharice, you're personalizing cover letters? How are you sending those cover letters? Frustrated. Sharice, what's going on? Great, Ingrid said. Optimistic, excellent. All right, all right, all right. We're checking the house. We're checking the house. I am glad that we are here. I appreciate you all's patience. And we're here. We're getting ready to get into this interview. Here's a couple of things right before we get into this. The interview, right? That means the interview means what, y'all? It means that someone has seen your skill set. They seen it on this piece of paper and they decided, you know what? I need to know more about this. So it is your opportunity to, guess what? Tell them more about you. Not a scary situation. It's not a situation where they're in complete control. It's an opportunity, right? If we've been praying, oh God, I need a job, please. Guess what he does? He gives you an interview. And guess what your response to that is? To be prepared. If you don't, hey Rhoda, how you doing? Hey everybody, hey IG. If you don't remember anything else tonight, I want you to remember this. Stay prepared. That way you have to get prepared. Y'all with me? Crystal, like Christmas. Excellent. Oh, I love that. Crystal. Oh, that's so neat. That is so neat. Hey, Jackie Crystal. I'm still hopeful. I may not stick around because I just watched your message. Great info. Okay. Awesome. Hey, y'all, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. We were talking about interviewing, and we're going to get into it. Actually, let's see something. Okay. I will check the comments. Actually, let me pull up. I'm going to open up the laptop. That way, if y'all have comments, I can see them real time. What's up, IG? What's going on? Y'all are in the building. What's going on? What's happening? I see y'all. I see y'all late night on a Tuesday, hanging with your girl. What's happening? I know y'all think this girl is but that's okay. Y'all love me because you know why? I love you too. How many people told y'all that today that they love you? Put how many people in the chat? I want to see. How many people have told you today that they love you? Instagram, how many people have told y'all that? Rhoda Thomas, hey, what's up? What's up, Tom? How many people told y'all that today? You can definitely, before you go to sleep tonight, you can say one person. Miss Kelly told me that she loved me. I love y'all. Okay, y'all. Here we go. Let's get into it. Let me find my mouse. Okay, IG, if y'all want to come over too. Look at Rhoda got 2 people. Let me see what y'all saying over here. 2 people have told her today. I love that. You are loved. Thomas said 2. 1 person. Oh, Crystal, I love you. You heard it last week, Cherise? Jackie said 1. Oh, Cherise, I love you. Robin! Well, I love you. I love y'all. Okay, here we go, y'all. Y'all ready? Guess what, Kelly? You gotta share your screen for people to see. This is how I talk to myself, y'all. Y'all do this. Y'all do this. I know y'all do. Y'all ain't gonna tell me, but I do. Can y'all see my screen? Can y'all see the screen? Careers by Kelly. But where is my group so I can see the peoples? There she is. Okay, y'all can see my screen now. Perfect. IG, if you want to come on over, it's Careers by Kelly. The link is in the bio if you want to join us and share my screen. Y'all ready? Here we go. How to answer interview questions. We're going to go through mastering interviewing techniques. Y'all ready? Here we go. Today's goal is by the end of the session, you will know how to answer the most commonly used interview questions in the market. I should say on the market, but here's some statistics for you for 2022. Guess what? On average, out of 118 people that apply for a job, only 20% of them get the chance for a job interview. You know what that equates to? That means about 17 candidates out of 118 get a job interview. What does that mean, Kelly? That means, listen, you're applying for that job and you walk away and you're frustrated and you're like, why they rejected me? Why didn't you call me back? You didn't give no feedback. Is it going to the black hole? I ain't heard nothing. Guess what? There was over 100 people that applied and they only picked 17 to interview. So that means what? You have to stand out. Why are they going to select you looking at your document? It's because they want to know more. All right. So once you get into that interview, you want to be what? Prepared. This is the one thing, if you don't hear me say anything else tonight, you want to be prepared. Okay? Preparing makes permanent, not perfection. We want you to be prepared. So here's how you get prepared. I want you to choose 5 stories that align with 5 of the top skills in the job description. So if you have a job description that says we want a critical thinker, we want someone with project management skills, We want someone that's a thought leader. They have to communicate effectively, and they're problem solver. Problem solver. So you got your 5 skills. You saw those 5 skills on the job description. Now you're going to come up with a story where you problem solve, where you were a thought leader, where you showed your critical skills. You also showed your project management skills, and where you communicated effectively. So you got 5 skills in your back pocket, and you're ready for those questions. That's how you prepare. That's one of the ways how you prepare. This is what I share with my clients. I'm going to share with you a few of these, right? But this is how you prepare. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. So how many of you have gotten this question? Tell me about yourself. How many? Drop in the chat. Have you gotten this question when you're in an interview? IG, have you gotten that question before? Tell me about yourself. How many of you have gotten that question? Here's how we want to respond to that. You know why we want to do this? Nobody else will tell you. You are going to be different than everybody else. Here's why. You're going to say this. You're not going to go in there and say, you know what? Well, I was born in Illinois, or I used to work at so-and-so. You're going to say, you know what? I've always been the kind of person who was fascinated about why things work and how things work. If this was an engineering interview, you're going to say, I've always been the kind of person who's fascinated about how things work and why things work. And I noticed that you all are starting a robotics department, and I want to be in that space. Right? I'm fascinated by that. If you were a salesperson, I've always been the kind of person who loves a challenge. That one client that nobody can get, that can sign them up for agreement, I'm after that client. I've always been that type of person. They're going to remember you because everybody else is going to come in with a cookie cutter response. Yours is going to be the difference. If you wanted to work in human resources and they say, well, tell me about yourself. I've always been the kind of person who's passionate about giving a voice to everybody. Right? So whenever you get this question, I've always been the kind of person that. I've always been the kind of person that. Y'all can remember that. Easy, peasy, beautiful. Y'all with me? Let's keep going. What are your strengths? You guys get this question, right? What are your strengths? I want you to pick 2 or 3 of the strengths that show that you understand what's required in the role. So with the job description, again, it has those strengths: critical thinking, problem solver, project management, communicate effectively, thought leadership, right? What are your strengths? I'm a thought leader when it comes to oil and energy. When I used to work in Texas and they had the big rigs and the oil and right? This is a strength of mine, right? You always tie into what they want. This interview is about them. Although you're going in there and you're a little nervous, you're a little anxious, and you don't like talking about yourself, and you're an introvert, and all the things that you label yourself with, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for them. All you got to do is look at that job description. It's giving you every clue in the book. If they say they need this, you grab that strength. When they ask you that question and you know on that job description they want a thought leader. You know what? One of my strengths is thought leadership. As it relates to oil and energy, when I worked in Houston, Texas, I worked for Gas Energy Electric. One of the things that I was able to do while I was there is measure the oil at top to right? You're speaking their language. Let's keep going. What is your weakness? Y'all got this question before. What is your weakness? Here's what they want to know, right? Identify an area. Here's what you do. Identify an area, either knowledge set, skill, or ability that you don't currently have, you'd like to have, or like to master. And if you had it, you would be much more valuable as a professional in your field. I'm going to give you an example. Hold on. So again, when they ask you the question, what is your weakness? Here's what you want to do. You want to identify an area, right? That if you had this skill set, you would be much more valuable as a professional. And then you want to go on to say the 3 things that you've already done to try to master that area. And then lastly, the progress you've made, and let them know that this is something you're currently working on. So for instance, if they were to say, hey, Kelly, what is your weakness? You know, I really wish I would have learned more about pivot tables using Excel. Currently, as a volunteer, I'm working with a data engineer on a passion project. So I'm learning from him how to create these pivot tables. And I've been able now to create one on my own. And I'm currently working to learn how to automate them. So I am confident by the end of this year, I will be proficient in running pivot tables or using pivot tables. You see how I did that? I'm not ashamed of my weakness. I own that I have a weakness. But guess what? Here's what I'm doing about that weakness. Yes, I have it. I own that I have it. Here's what I'm doing about it. Y'all got me? Don't you go in there talking about you don't have one or that you a people pleaser. That's weak. No pun intended. Own it. Everybody has it. And all they want to know is that if you're going to own it. Do you own the fact that you have a weakness? Because we know that you do because you're human. Don't go in there saying you don't have no weakness. Or don't go in there talking about how you help other people because they're not as good as you. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. Think about an area where you know that it would add to your professional experience. Let's keep going. Tell me about your experience with, this could be anything. Tell me about your experience with running marketing campaigns. Tell me about your experience with Java. Tell me about your experience running P&L reports in an accounting firm. Tell me about your experience as a consultant working at Accenture. Tell me about your experience working with Coca-Cola in the Asian market. In order to come across clear, concise, and confident, with 3 C's, clear, concise, and confident, you're going to set up 3 bullet points for yourself. 1, so you don't ramble on. 2, so you can be clear and concise when you're responding. And 3, so that you can come across confident. 3 facts. These aren't made up. This is not something you're lying about. Listen, I'm great at Java. I've been using it for the past 10 years. I know front end and back end. As a matter of fact, when I worked at Amazon, I used it when I helped them to automate the Audible app that they have. Those are facts. And I kept it on point. I was clear and concise. I gave them 3 facts right there. Boom, boom, boom. Y'all with me? All right, let's keep going. Tell me about a conflict or a disagreement. This is a good one. Everybody gets this one, right? They want to know. You like that one, Rhoda? Awesome, awesome. They want to know because guess what? They know that you're going to be working with people or teams or cross collaborating, and it's going to happen. Anytime you're dealing with people, just like in your family, y'all got some conflict. Y'all have had some disagreements. Even if it's just you and your spouse or you and your significant other, guess what? There's conflict. So don't go in there saying you can't think of a situation because you had one. Right? In this question, it demonstrates your conflict resolution skills. It demonstrates how you de-escalate problems on a team, and it demonstrates how you collaboratively problem solve. All right? So here's how you respond to that. You address the situation one-on-one. So tell me about a conflict or disagreement. Well, I was working with Rhoda. We were working on the United Way fundraising project, and I felt like she wasn't carrying her weight. You know, I had to get together all of the different business units and talk to all of the managers and also meet with my team. And I felt like I was doing all the work. So how did you address this? So I met with Rhoda. I met with her one-on-one. You know, I put some time on her calendar. And I asked her, I said, you know, is everything okay? Because I noticed that, you know, you haven't been attending the meetings and I've been pretty much doing all the heavy lifting. Come to find out that Rhoda lost her pet parakeet and she's been sad about it, right? So the second bullet says, ask you for their perspective. You know what, Kelly, I understand that, but I've been doing my best to try to function. I really cared about my pet parakeet and it's really been on my mind. I've been distraught about it. I'm so sorry to hear that, Rhoda. I totally understand. And I shared with her that I understand. And I wondered if we could get someone to take her place and she can have some time for herself, just to get herself together and regroup. And so you validated, this should say this third building, you validated how they're feeling, right? She lost her pet parakeet, right? So they want to know that you have conflict resolution skill. You have that skill set. You know how to handle conflict. You can problem solve. You don't walk into your manager and say, Rhoda hasn't been helping me. I'm doing all the work. You didn't call her out in the team meeting. You didn't, put her out there on Front Street in front of everyone. You pulled her aside one-on-one. And so what you're doing, you're giving them really a lot of detail. I put Rhoda aside one-on-one and I had a conversation. I asked her if everything was okay. Is there any way I could support her? Right. And I was very empathetic to her situation. She lost her pet parakeet. And I was very empathetic. Right. And you share with them how you did that. Right. So again, they're looking for these three things. Okay. Let's keep going. Tell me about a mistake that you made. Let's talk about a mistake, because you know what? They know that you have made mistakes. They know that you're going to make a mistake. They know that you're going to make a mistake in this role at this company. Don't you dare go and say that you never made a mistake. Don't you dare go and say that you jumped in and you helped Robin because she didn't know what the heck she was doing. That's not owning. That's not taking accountability. It says you made it. Talk about that. Tell the story about the mistake. I accidentally paid Tom $100,000 and I put in too many zeros on the paycheck when I was doing payroll. The moment, the second bullet here, the moment I learned, I immediately went to my manager and I told them about the mistake, how we had overpaid Tom. I immediately called Tom and I shared with him the mistake, and he was very, very helpful, and he understood. And so we were able to cut him a manual check and reverse the deposit from the bank, and it was back in our bank within 48 hours. And so in order for me not to do this again, I put some ticklers in place, and I even had my colleague moving forward who will double check me as I put the numbers in on a weekly basis as it relates to payroll. So you tell them the story, the moment you told someone, what you did to fix the situation, and what changes you put in place for the future so it won't happen again. Y'all with me? This is how you talk about the mistake that you made. And again, it's not that you've never made a mistake. It's not that you won't ever make a mistake, because you will make mistakes. So you want to own it, and then you want to use this framework to discuss it. Why do you want to work for us? This question is more about them than you. It's all about them. Y'all know how you talk to people and they love to talk about themselves. Same way for hiring managers. Talk about the company. Talk about the business unit or department they work in. Talk about them. It's more about them than you. Your values align with theirs. Show an alignment with their values. Where can you find their values, you all? Right there on their website, front and center. Every company talks about their missions and their values and their core values and their leadership. They talk about all of that front and center. They put it in your face. You go grab a couple of those that align with your values and your mission. If they're a company that believes in diversity and inclusion, they believe in empowering their people, they believe in strategic leadership, you say, you know what, this aligns with my core values. Having an inclusive culture is something that I'm very passionate about, and I love the fact that this is front and center on your website. I follow you all on LinkedIn, and I see that you often talk about how you empower your employees. This is a value to me as well, and it aligns with my core values. That's why I want to work for you. That's how you answer their question. All right, let's keep it going. Why are you leaving your current job? Why are you leaving your current job? Well, you don't want to go in there and say, I can't stand my boss. I got a toxic boss. That person is intimidated by me. They are mean. They're not supportive. There's no professional development. They don't help me at all. The leadership is horrible. And y'all know that, right? So here's how you can address this question. Always keep it positive. You don't gotta lie. You gotta keep it positive. You can say something like this. I really like the people that I work with. Or I really love a lot of things about where I work, but my passion is really around marketing. Right now, as a marketing specialist, I work on a lot of administrative tasks. I really want to dive deeper into running campaigns or the advertising and the budget, right? So maybe you don't have, as part of your current responsibilities, you don't have that particular task that you really want to focus on. You really want to get that skill. And so this is why you want to leave your current job. And so you mentioned 2 or 3 skills, ability, or experience, or knowledge set that you gain at the job that would be useful. Here's an example of that. Why are you leaving your current job? You know what? I really enjoyed my 3 years working at UPS. I was given progressively increasing leadership responsibilities, which allowed me to work on my leadership skills. Or you can say, why are you leaving Amazon? You know, I developed excellent collaboration skills because I work cross-functionally with many departments. And then you go into, but my passion is really around the client side. You know, I know working at Amazon, I can work on all these technical things, but I'm not technical and I'm not interested in technical. I really want to work on the vendors and working with some of their other clients. So I really want to work in the client-facing side, just like this opportunity that's available to me here. Or you can say, I became really good at Excel while I was working at Coca-Cola. So again, you're not bashing your current company. You're talking about what you've learned. You're talking about what you want to do now in a positive light. All right. Why should we hire you? Now, I don't want you to get this confused with what are your strengths. This isn't a time for you to talk again about your strengths. When you talked about your problem solving and communicating effectively and project management, you want to talk about, again, how what they have available aligns with your current career path and your values. So why should we hire you, Kelly? Because this position directly aligns with my current career path and values. In the first 30 days, you can expect me to build relationships so that I am successful in this role and become a subject matter expert. I'm confident that if you brought me on your team, I will be a value add and an asset to this organization. Again, I'm not repeating myself with the what are your strengths question. I'm aligning my values and my goals with theirs. This is why you should hire me. Now with me? Okay, let's keep going. Now, we don't get this question often. I had presented this before to someone and they asked me this, so I just kept it in here. What I have seen in my experience that a lot of the more traditional and conservative hiring managers from some of the conservative companies, they may ask you this because they believe they can gauge if a person will stay. I don't believe that you can gauge if a person will stay. I also know that the shelf life of a person's skill and the shelf life of a person staying at a job is 2.5 years. But again, I kept this in here because sometimes you'll get one of those managers that have been at the company forever and they still think that they can gauge if you're going to stay or not. So the question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This question is aligned to them envisioning you with their company. It's easy for you to make something up, but just be totally honest. Listen, the marketplace of work changes so rapidly. I intend to be doing the work that this organization needs at that time. I plan to develop myself and align myself with that work. Clear, concise, and confident. That's it. Nobody can tell you how long you're going to be there. Nobody can gauge how long a person's going to be at a company. So this isn't my favorite question, but I just decided to keep it in there. All right. So wrapping up, do you have any questions for us? You always have questions. If you tell them, no, I don't have anything, or you think you're doing, well by saying, you know what, you answered everything. They're going to think you're not as interested because everybody's going to come with questions. Here's two that you can ask. The challenge questions are this: what challenge do you see for someone in this role in the first 90 days? Or what were some of the biggest challenges that the last person in this role had? Or what challenges is this department facing right now? Can anybody tell me why one of those three questions work, or why all three? Somebody tell me why those questions work. I'll read it again. What challenge do you see for someone in this role in the first 90 days? What were some of the biggest challenges that the last person in this role had? Or what challenges is this department facing right now? Somebody tell me why those are good questions to ask. Who can tell me why? I'm going to look and see if I got any comments. What y'all think? What y'all think? Why are those good questions to ask? Yo? Let's see. What y'all saying? Let's see. Let's see. Why are those good questions to ask? You don't want to ask questions that are open-ended. You don't want to ask questions that are yes or no. Why? Because it's another opportunity for you to sell yourself. So what challenge do you see for someone in this role in the first 9 days? Well, we do not have any automation. None of our systems speak to each other. Everything is manual here. So the first 90 days, this person's going to have to come in and help us to automate. You know what? That is excellent, because when I worked at Accenture, all of the processes were manual. We were able to bring in some systems that talk to each other, from HR to payroll to benefits and to talent acquisition. And I was able to help a team implement these, all of these systems, right? So it gives you an opportunity as well. It gives you an opportunity to talk about how you have already done that. That's right. Rhoda said, I had a job coach who mentioned these questions, and she said it shows concerns and get engagement with interviewer. That's it. That's it, right? You're sharing that you're interested in the role, and it gives you an opportunity to say, oh yeah, I know that, right? What were some of the biggest challenges that the last person had in this role? You know, there's a heavy load. There's a lot of job openings for this role. There are times during peak season when we're going into the holidays where there's more than 60 requisitions open, 60 job openings. Oh, that's interesting, because when I worked over at Starbucks, we had 75 roles at one time, and I had to really prioritize all of my roles, and I was able to enlist help. And you sharing, oh, I'm used to that. Here's what I did. Here's how I solved it. So think of your questions and don't ask the yes or no questions. Okay. Another way, same reason, right? Same reason. What do you love about the culture here? What project are you really excited about right now? What inspires you about this company? What do you love about the culture here? I really love that there is a sense of belonging for everyone. I love the fact that everyone has a voice here. That's amazing. I love that you say that, because at my current company, we recently implemented ERGs, where we put employee resource groups together, and everyone had a sense of belonging. So I'm super excited about that. Again, it gives you an opportunity to sell yourself there. Okay? Let me say one more thing about that before we go into the email. Another question you don't ever want to leave is, what are the next steps? Make sure you say that as well. Okay? What are next steps? That way you have an idea of where you stand. They can say, you know what, we have other candidates. That way you know, right? We have other candidates that we're seeing, but someone should be back with you by Friday. Right? Give them until that time to respond. Or they may say, you know, your recruiter will get back in contact with you. And if they don't, you can send a message, hey, hadn't heard back from the recruiter. I know that you mentioned in our call that, in our interview, da-da-da-da. And then your follow-up email, 5 days, rule of thumb that I have, everybody's different. Send an email that says 2 things. Just want to let you know that I'm still very interested in the position. Is there any additional information that I can offer to you that would be useful to you in your decision-making process? Right? You're not saying, hey, you told me that you were going to call me and all this. No, listen, I'm still very much interested. Anything else that you have questions about, I'm here for you. All right, y'all. How we feel? Was that helpful? Y'all let me know. Let me know. Was that helpful? Y'all tell me. What questions you got? Okay, good, Rhoda. I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, Yvonne. I'm glad. I'm glad. What questions y'all got? Any? We good? Crystal said, I work home alone, live alone, and haven't called my sister yet. Thank you. Oh, I love you. I love you. Sharice said, you can let them know you either won't have that issue or you can solve that problem. Oh, you talk about the problems? Yeah. You're identifying a problem that you can offer. That's it, Stacey. That's it. That's it. But if they said, it demonstrates your willingness and desire to jump in and work towards resolution. That's it. Absolutely. That's it, you all. And you said illuminating insights. Ooh, I love that. Illuminating insights. Now remember, the interview is not a scary thing. 80% of it is confidence, y'all. It's confidence. And we we've come up, and a lot of y'all, we're around the same age. I know we are, right? We come up and we see it as, all these people that are in authority and they have these fancy titles and we have to go in there and prove ourselves and validate. They need us, y'all. They need you. They need you. They have a problem that they're trying to solve. When you walk in there, they don't know what you want. And you don't want to be cookie cutter. If you're going for a financial analyst role, you don't want to sound like everybody else. Everybody else going to go in there and talk about, what mistake did you make? Well, I had to go and I had to help Stacey, and sharing with her that this is how you're not even taking accountability. Be a real person, you all. Be a real person. Yeah, I did myself. Here's what happened. There was a big project, and I didn't meet the deliverable. I underestimated how long it would take. But moving forward, I have benchmarks now in place that I know I have to meet each time. You're a real person. You make mistakes. Go in there and have a conversation. This is a dialogue. It's between two people. Even if there's a panel, right? It's them, the company, and you. In your experience, your skill set, your knowledge base is unique to you. If you're going in there sounding like everybody else, they're going to wait for the person that's different, that stands out, that's going to bring something to the table. You don't want to be Googling and say, okay, let me ask this, let me ask this. These questions here were different. These responses were different. I don't want to give you the same thing I know everybody else is going to say. I've been doing it for 30 years. They come in and say the same thing. Sometimes y'all, we would close our eyes because it was just so boring. It was so boring. We used to put people on, this ain't funny, but we used to put people on mute and continue working. I'm telling y'all what really happens. This stuff really happens, y'all. You don't want to sound like everybody else. Right? And don't be phony. If you don't have a skill that they're looking for, you know what? I know that on your job description that you ask for someone that works in manufacturing, and I have retail experience. But I'll tell you, when I was working in manufacturing, I was able to help them with selling their inventory. And what I learned from that is this: to be honest. Be honest. I've shared this before. When if you go to my LinkedIn, my old LinkedIn profile, I got a few of them out there. My old LinkedIn profile. If you scroll, there's a story about when I got hired at Microsoft. The reason why I wrote a long post on it, the reason why I shared that is because the person that I interviewed with, he was a real person. I asked him at the end of the interview, and I said, "Why are you still at Microsoft? What keeps you there? He said, because I can be myself. He said, I'm an introvert. He said, I really don't like interacting with people. Even though I'm a manager, he said, they allow me to sit in my office and do my work. He said, my team, he said, I know and I trust them and they get their work done. He said, I don't have to interact if I don't want to. I can do the work that I enjoy and I don't have to interact. He was a whole person. And in my mind, because I had a strategic plan, I told y'all about this. I was getting in there so I can work at LinkedIn. That was my, I was like, wow. That made me like them even more. And I'll tell y'all this, the first time I didn't get hired in Microsoft. The first time I didn't get hired. But when I put something in my mind to do, I'm going to do it. And then I got hired. I share with my clients the backdoor method. So if y'all want to know that, let me know. Reach out to me, girl. But I was on a mission. And that's how you should be. You've been praying and wishing and hoping and you just want that job. And look, guess what? He's giving you an interview. I was on you. It's on you now. Hey, I done done. I gave you the butter, the salt, the sugar, the cream, the eggs to make the cake. I gave you all the stuff. It's on you now. Don't talk about they won't hire me because of my age. They won't hire me because too many dates. They won't hire me because my thing is my resume is too long. They won't hire me because of it. No. Find out where there's a disconnect. What is happening? If you're going in interviews and they're giving you feedback and they say, well, you didn't say so and so. That's not a blanket statement. That's one person at one company with one role. They just put 500,000 new jobs on the market in the month of July. Don't you take that feedback and say, oh, I'm just being rejected. Stop doing that to yourself. Don't self-sabotage yourself. You're a bad thing. In a good thing. Y'all know what I mean? When I say bad thing, you're a bad thing. Get the feedback. Take it with a grain of salt. They could be having a bad day. That's just their perspective. They're thinking about where they were, why you won't fit where they were. Oh, you know what? She's too cocky. Or he's too cocky. He would not work here. He would not care. Everybody's very humble. That's one perspective. Don't take that like, oh, I'm just rejected. I'm overqualified. They'll never hire. That's one person's perspective. They could be having a bad day. You know you got the skill set. You know you can do. Move on. Keep moving. Stop it. You're not too old. You're not overqualified. We out here for the long haul, y'all. We ain't ready to sit down. All these jobs out here, keep going. Keep going. Brother said, is it okay to ask how many candidates that will be interviewed for a role? You can ask, but they don't really know how many, because it could. I've seen jobs where they hired, interview 5 people, and the interviewers still, hiring managers still haven't found the person that they want, and they'll just keep interviewing. So I don't know that somebody's going to give you a definitive answer on that. You can ask, but I don't know that somebody would actually know how many that they have. It's never been, in my experience, it never said, well, we're just going to interview 3 people, we're going to pick someone. It may not be, you find the person. Stacy said, I got the job by the end of the interview and I wasn't trying. One perspective is to be yourself, don't be too nervous. That's it, Stacy. That's it. Stacy said, years ago, I went on a job with my friend and she really wanted a job, but I was not really interested in my car. Yeah, we do that. I get that. Transitioning to full-time work after working at company as a contract employee. How to approach the interview, navigate salary comp package, knowing there's a cost to agency for your initial placement. But that's what I did for the bulk of my career. Jack, worked as a contract. I love contract. When I transitioned to full-time, it was for my personal reason. One, when I transitioned to full-time, I worked, it was because I really liked the company. I liked the people, and I was having a good time. I was there as a contractor, and they asked me like twice. First time I was like, no, because of my career, I never Like you never saw any pictures of my daughter. I didn't get no plants. I didn't do none of that because I knew I wasn't gonna be there. That was my whole plan. But this particular company, I was like, I really like the people, and it was just comfortable. So I took the full time role. So often when you go in, Jackie, what I would say, I would find out. Typically, you can ask the recruiter if there's opportunities to convert to a full time, and if you know that, then I would ask them about the success rate. You know, how often do they convert contractors? Ask them, you know, is there something specific that they will be looking for? So things like that. So you can transition to full-time employment. Um, so it is possible, but you want to find out ahead of time. If that's your goal, then definitely ask your recruiter or the agency that you're working for, or let them know early on. That way you're not spending time just getting and taking contracting roles. You can say, you know, I'm only interested for my next role in full-time opportunities. How to approach the interview, navigate salary compact, knowing there's a cost to agency for your initial placement. There shouldn't be a cost. There shouldn't be a cost, Jackie. Are you saying a cost that the recruiter's going to get? The commission you mean that the recruiter's going to get? You should not be paying. And I can talk to you more about this because this is exactly what I did. And you know, as a contractor, you're going to make more than as a full-time employee because they're giving you benefits and all the things. Now, I know now agencies give you all of that, but you're going to take a cut going in as a full-time employee. But that may not be your motivation. You may be, you know, wanting to take a full-time employee. Company cost to agency. Company cost. So the agency paying for you. Okay. I mean, that's not for you to worry about. I mean, it happens every day. They know it's a cost. And here's the thing. Oftentimes they make a deal with them and they'll say that you can convert. There was a couple times I had to manage some of the vendors. And what happens is they have like a rate chart. Like after 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. The longer you keep them, the lower the rate is for the company. But that's not anything for you to worry about. It is what it is, right? If they want to convert you, they do look at the company, they do look at the costs, right? Well, if we keep her for 18 months, then it'll be free for us to convert her. If we keep it for 12, then it'll be 20%. But if we only keep it for 3, it'll be 50%. They do look at that. But again, you want to go in with a strategy. And again, I can share with you if you're interested how kind of some of the things that I did when I thought I wanted to work full time, and I did. So hopefully, let me know if that helped at all. You're welcome. You're welcome. Cherie said, my challenge is coming back to corp after gig work for the last few years. Apparently, the pandemic hasn't been a good reason. She said, apparently. No, my dear. But it shouldn't be a challenge. There's a lot of roles open, y'all. There's a lot of roles open, and gig work is here to stay, y'all. I'm gonna have to do a session on that. It's here to stay, and I know for some it's not exciting. It's not something you want to hear. It's not something that you want to do, but it is what it is. That's where there's work. And all work is project-based work. You just don't know it. When you get an offer, y'all remember SAP? For those of you, maybe you remember, I don't know if you remember. I'm dating myself. I remember we were doing all this hiring for SAP, all this hiring. It was just for 3 years. We hired all these people. All work, y'all, is project work. You just don't know it. You take an offer. Now, some people I know, they work in their job for this many years. Those days are no longer. So the gig work isn't bad. And I know as we get older and more mature, we think about, I need to find somewhere I can be full time and just be there until I ride this thing out. Another thought on that is, like Jackie and I think Sharice also, you can set up, and I have a client that just did this, John. He just said I helped him set up his own thing. Right? You at home, you picking your work. what you want to do. That's all day. If you go back, if you over, I don't know if you're in Facebook or YouTube, if you go back, I showed y'all in my inbox is just flooded with recruiters saying, about contract opportunities. You won't even have to look. I didn't have to look. I did not have to look. So it's about your goals, your personal goals, because everybody's at a different phase and stage. And I know some of you you're on here and you want to know about the interview thing, but you're making decisions and you're thinking about it. And you want to set yourself up strategically. You want to think about your future. You want to be future focused. You want to think about what does that look like for me. And I talk a lot about, and what I do, the people that I work with, mid to late career working professionals, is three things. They either want to take it to the next level, they want to transition, or they want to tailor their skills. And if one of those three things is you can definitely reach out to me. You can just drop in the comments over on Instagram or Facebook, or send me a message that you want to have a conversation. But you want to think about your future and strategically, what does that look like for you? What I mean by strategic, I mean, what's going to be around? Right? Don't go out there and I need to go and get, higher education because I'm not finding anything. It may just be one of those three T's. You need to tailor your skills. Because if you're a recruiter now and you work on university recruiting and you see that now, kids, a lot of people are doing homeschooling or whatever the case, and it's not really serving you. Okay, let me take these recruiting skills and let me move over here and do healthcare recruiting, because that's not going anywhere. And I know there's a ton of nurses that they're looking for. So I'm taking the same set of skills, but now I'm tailoring it to the market where the demand is. If you work in finance and you know right now that you do whatever, financial analyst, but that you're bored with it. You're not motivated by it. It's not serving you. You're not challenged anymore. You can do it with your eyes closed. You're capped at your salary. There's no career growth. They're not going to elevate you. Then you know that you're not going anywhere, but you're comfortable, but you have the set of skills. And you're like, I don't want to start over. I want to start from scratch. But starting from scratch doesn't mean you got to start over. And they got these skills. Let's use them. We just didn't take that thing and like the Rubik's Cube, and it's still a Rubik's Cube. We're just whipping it around. Y'all got what I'm saying? That makes sense? Yeah, I love the pay as well. That's right, Sharice. That's right. Listen, y'all, if you can use assistance, I'm definitely here to help you. I want you to go ahead and drop in the comments. You can drop underneath this video once we close it. Just put 3, the number 3 and the letter T. If you want me to reach out to you, you got to put a way for me to contact you, because on YouTube, I don't know how to contact people. You can go to my Instagram or Facebook and just hit me up on Messenger. Just put 3 T's, because I got a lot of messages. And so I will reach out to you. If it's something you want to talk about, coming up with a strategy or a plan, definitely here to assist you with that. Was this helpful, you all? I appreciate you all being patient with me earlier. That's amazing, Yvonne. That's amazing. Definitely update your skills. Think about, your future, y'all, because a lot of the work that we're doing, parts of it will be automated. Parts of it will be automated. Back in the day, we used to call ourselves full life cycle recruiters. You don't even hear that term anymore, because part of that is automated now. It's automated. We don't do none of that. Okay, I'm glad it was helpful. I appreciate you. Thanks, Rhoda. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate you. All right, y'all have a great evening. We are back at it next Tuesday. Y'all have a great night, all right? Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend as well. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Bye, IG. Thanks for joining me.